The Ladies Fellowship, 6:30. And it's in your weekly. Grab a weekly and you'll be able to have all the info and all that stuff. All right. You guys ready to get started? Like I said, we'll keep this short. I hear there's enchiladas. Red and green. Whatever all that means. I am in. Right? I am in. All right. So, all things new. That's been our sermon series, right? All things new. And this is a short sermon series because there was only two. This is the third one, and it's the last one. Short sermon series, all things new. Because the question leads into, if all things are new, but who is Jesus? Why who is Jesus? Because if we don't know who it is that's making all things new, then we're just sitting in the, okay, all things are new. Well, why? Well, because, right? Why is the sky blue? Because. Stop asking questions. We don't want to go down that road. Right? But that's kind of what we do as parents. Why? Why do I have to go? Because I said, now get in the car. But when it comes to our faith, we should know, right? We should know who Jesus is. We should know some hard questions, and I'm going to unfold that. I'm going to get into it because this next sermon we're going to go into, we have been a church with a lot of focus on us, right? Our journey, our struggles, our problems, and letting everyone know and together know that we can journey together in all of our struggles, in all of our imperfections, in all of our brokenness. We can bring our hurts, our habits, and our hang-ups together, and we can hang out together and journey together, and know that it's okay, and that we have grace for ourselves and grace for one another, right? And we've been spending a lot of time on that. And hopefully everybody is comfortable and they're rooted into the fact that you belong here, and everything is okay. You're okay, right? That's what I said the other day. I want you to turn to your neighbor and say, hey, you're okay, right? You're okay. Nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. You're okay. You're right where you're supposed to be. Yeah, you're okay. Right. And with January here and the new year, right? All things are new and we love new. New season, new time. I'm going to do some things different. It's all new. I'm going to have a new life. And then the weeks roll on. You're like, what happened to all that newness? Kind of still the same. Maybe some things have changed. I don't know. But it's all different for everybody, right? But we love new. We love new beginnings, new seasons, new starts, new mercies, right? New forgiveness, new graces. But sometimes we want all that new, if I'm honest, without pursuing the relationship behind it. All right, all these things are new, but who makes them new, right? Who's the one that's making all things new? I want peace, but I don't always ask who is the Prince of Peace, right? I want purpose. I want new purpose for 26. But I don't always ask, who's the one who gives me purpose? Right? I want new life. I want my life to be new. And sometimes I'll skip right past the question of who gives new life. Who is it that gives you new life? So, I realized something as we walked through the past two sermon series together, right? And that's, we've been celebrating what God does. What God does for us. What He does in us. Who He is to us, right? We celebrate what He does. But as we move forward, we need to slow down and ask who God is. We know what He's doing for us, but now who is He, right? Everything new flows from someone, not something, right? All things new flow from someone. God is a person. Jesus is a person. It's always hard to wrap up. For me, it was really hard. I want my God to be so big that He's up there and He's everywhere. But God came, was born, and walked with us. He was a person. So, who is Jesus? Well, He's God, and He's a person. I know, it's a lot. It's kind of crazy. But that's what our new sermon series is going to be, to unfold who is Jesus. Who is this man, Son of Man, Son of God, God. Jesus was the Word in the beginning, Jesus was the Word, right? Was with God, is God. All these things that are kind of hard to wrap our human little minds around because we want to understand God and Jesus and put them in a box and be like, okay, I get it. But there are things in the Bible that say the mysteries of God. There are things in the Bible that says lean not on your own understanding because good luck trying to understand the vastness and the mysteries of God. But we can know the things that God reveals to us, right? And he revealed himself through Jesus. So we can know all about that. So that's what we're going to do. We are going to do our best to know all about that. So, where am I at? How about it? Where am I? You're in church, sir. Yeah. And as a church, we've talked about things. We've talked about new beginnings, having new purpose, new process. Yeah, we've talked all about we're still in process, right? I'm new, but I'm still in process, right? We talked all about that. Living in this new identity. Who am I now that I'm this new creation? It's not self-improvement, right? It's not what do I have to do. It's who am I? Because out of our new identity will come things from the heart. And that's why the scripture tells us right from the heart. Whatever the mouth speaks, it's coming from the heart. Whoever you are, whoever your identity is rooted in, those kind of things will just come out of your heart. Now, the thing is, if your mouth is speaking some things that don't seem to be in line, well, that's, if you haven't seen the online Bible study, our first one was last Tuesday, we talked about sanctification, or I did. I did the first 10-minute Bible study, talked about sanctification, which is the journey, right? It's not the being saved in the moment, it's the lifelong journey of growing and transforming. So, if you've been here for this journey, the past series, you might be feeling one or two things. I made slides for this because this is usually where we sit, right? One of two camps. Either we're thinking, God is changing me and I'm grateful. That might be, as we talked about being in process, we talked about having grace for ourselves and grace for one another. We know, okay, we're in process. That's why I haven't completely changed. That's why I'm not perfect or I don't always succeed in my Christ-like character, right? I fail in my humanness. But if we can accept that we are being changed, we can be grateful for that God is doing a work. But there's another camp of people, depending on the season and what's going on in our lives, we might be feeling, well, I'm still confused. I feel unfinished, and I'm unsure. I'm unsure about it all, right? And that's okay, because that's the tension that we all share. What I'll tell you is if you feel like you're one or the other of those, give it a day, give it 2 days. Keep those questions on your fridge, and you'll see like, oh yeah, today it's kind of more of this one. Today, maybe it's more of this one, right? We get confident in our faith one day, something comes at us, we get shaken, our faith gets shaken a little bit, and then we're a little more confused, maybe not as confident in things. We can talk about what is new, but eventually we have to deal with who is at the center of it all, right? We have to know, what I would like us to know is that Christianity, it's not a concept, it's not a self-help program, right? I talked about upgrades. It's not a Windows update, right? It's not an upgrade. We're not trying to be 2.0 version of ourselves. Christianity is built around a person, and that person is Jesus. And if we don't clearly know who Jesus is, we'll misunderstand what it means to believe in him and to follow him, right? If we don't really know who he is, then we'll either misunderstand it or we won't quite be on that what's it called? Being tenacious, right? We won't be driven to follow him if we don't truly know who he is. Because once we wrap our head around who he is, it's a little bit more motivating. That's what I believe. It's exciting. It's not full of fear, right? It's not a fear-driven faith here. This is an exciting thing. So, the central question of Scripture, right? Here's the truth the Bible keeps bringing us back to. And that is, God doesn't start with our behavior, right? I even said, what I had said in the last series, right, was it's not about our behavior, it's about our identity, But do you know God starts even before that? Because before our behavior and before our identity, there's the revelation. God starts with revelation, meaning how is he revealing himself to us, right? Who is God revealing himself to be? And that's why Jesus didn't begin his ministry by handing out rules, right? And we can go back to 10 Commandments and be like, well, God handed out some rules. Jesus came and said, okay, you've got those 10, you turned them into 550. It's kind of what you guys all did, right? But what Jesus said, I don't have a list of rules for you. I'm not going to talk about behavior. Jesus asked some questions. Matthew 16, 13 through 15, when Jesus came to the region of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, who do people say the Son of Man is? And they replied, well, some say John the Baptist. Others say Elijah. And still others say Jeremiah or one of the other prophets. And then Jesus asked his disciples, who do you say that I am? Jesus didn't come with a list of things. He came with questions. Who do you say I am? Jesus would also go on to ask them, do you believe this? Do you believe who you are saying I am? And are you willing to follow me? Those are 3 deep questions. Simple, but not easy. I always like to define those things, right? Well, that's hard. No, actually, it's really simple. But it's not easy, right? That's difficult. No, it's simple. It's hard. Yes, not easy. It could be simple and hard, and it could be very difficult and super easy. We're going to go down the lane of simple, but sometimes very hard, right? Everything hinges on who Jesus is. Not what he said, not what he said and what he did so much. I mean, of course, everything's the example of Jesus. But the things that he said and the things that he did have so much more meaning when we know who he is, right? We have to know who he is. And why is it so important that we know who he is? Here are some things. I hear a lot of people say, you guys are pretty arrogant to think that yours is the only religion that will lead to God. You guys ever hear that? What I'm going to do in this next sermon series, I'm going to bring all the hardest questions to this pulpit. I'm so thankful to have some people that's going to partner with me in this. Because my heart's desire is, can I take apologetics? This is a big word. You can just write it in your notes, look it up. Can I take apologetics and can I boil out all the Christianese and make it so simple that by the end of this series, everyone in here will be able to defend their faith. Everyone will be able to answer the hardest questions. That's my desire. That's my heart's goal, right? I want you to know who Jesus is so clearly that any question that comes from a family member or a friend, you're going to answer it in a way that they're going to be like, oh, I thought I had you. But apparently, I need to know more, right? I need to know more. Since you are so sure about this, I need to know more. That's where I'm hoping that we can go. Because, why is this? Because if Jesus is just the teacher, then we only listen when it's convenient. Right? It's the only time to listen to him, because he's just a teacher. What if Jesus was just a prophet? Then we will admire him from a distance. You know, that guy who was talking, mouthpiece of God. We'll just admire him from a distance. If Jesus was just a good man, then we will compare him to every other good man who's bringing his own interpretation of religion and godliness. We'll compare him to the other big names in religions, like Buddha, or, I don't want to go down all the lines of the names, but you know what I'm saying? We'll compare him to the other religious leaders if he was just a good man. Gandhi, that's a safe name to say. Gandhi. But if Jesus is who he claimed to be, not just a good man, not just a prophet, right? Not just a teacher, God incarnate, part of the Holy Trinity, right? If he is who he says he is, Well, everything's different. Everything changes. You can't compare. You can't compare God to the one who's talking about God. You can't compare God with the one who's teaching good morals and good behaviors and good heart posture because they know the way to God. Jesus says, I am the way. Right? No one comes to the Father except through me. It changes everything when we know exactly who Jesus is. Your identity will change, your purpose changes, your future changes, your eternity changes because of who Jesus is. Right? And that's why All Things New was such a short series. All Things New cannot stand on its own. It's only a doorway to who Jesus is. And that's our next sermon series. Who is Jesus? Right? So it's an invitation for all of us to go a little deeper, take the focus off ourselves for a little while. And you know me, I can't stand up here and just talk about God and Jesus without saying, and how does that apply to me? You know, we all need that, right? So what does it mean for me, though? How do I apply that for me? So we're going to talk all about Jesus, but then also that relationship, right? Why did God come? Why was he born when he was born? Well, because of us. So, here's the loving challenge for each of us, right? It's possible to enjoy the benefits of faith without ever truly knowing the foundation of it. It's possible to sing songs up here and worship out there and never wrestle with questions, the hard questions. It's possible to say, I'm a Christian, but have a blurry picture of who Jesus actually is. And I know that God loves us way too much for us to have a vague relationship with him, right? He knows us really well. He knows us probably a little too well because he knows everything about us, right? I can't hide nothing. So since he knows everything, I believe it's our desire to know him as best we can, right? And like I said, I don't know why, but it tickles me and I love it so much. Christmas Carol, the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future. The ghost of present in the old one, the old movie, is that big guy in the room. And he's like, come in and know me better, man. Just put that image in your head. Maybe go look up that clip, watch the movie, and then think about God in the room. He's just filling the whole room with his robes, you know, and you walk in through the doors and he is filling the entire room and he says, come in, know me better, man. And you're like, okay. Don't be full of fear. Be full of like, I need to know this guy better. Right? And I got questions. Why? God, I have so many whys. God doesn't turn us away with because I said so. He doesn't do that. He says, come in, sit with me, know me better. I'm going to answer all your questions. Now, some of my answers might be, right, Wen? Some of my answers might be, well, it's a mystery. You really can't wrap your head around. If I try to explain it to you, I'm going to go down some movie scene that I've seen. Your head will just explode. It's too much. So the things that you can understand, I'm going to explain it to you. The things that I can't quite reveal to you yet, I'm going to let you know, not to lean on your own understanding. This is bigger than your thoughts, bigger than what you can understand. But I'm going to explain many things to you. I'm going to reveal many things to you. And by the time we're done, you're going to know that you're loved, that you belong, and that you were made on purpose. Right? On purpose for a purpose. No one here is by accident. Okay, so this next series called Who is Jesus? Not what would Jesus do, although that is a great bumper sticker. What would Jesus do? Well, I don't know. Who is Jesus? And we're going all the way back to the beginning, right? We're not going to call it, how can Jesus help me? We spend lots of time in that one, right? That's kind of in our prayer life too. Jesus, help me. And we're not going to ask the question of why should I go to church? Because when you know who Jesus is, you'll want to hear more. You'll want to hear more, right? The deeper, honest question is, who is Jesus really? Who is he really? It can't be that simple. right? Well, we're going to ask some questions over the next 8 to 10 weeks. I wrote down 7 questions and I put them on slides. So I want you to kind of know the journey we're going to take together. So it might pique your interest and hopefully you come back. I know you're all here because there's enchiladas today. No. But hopefully you keep coming back because you want to hear more. You want to hear these hard questions answered. How about first one? Who was Jesus before creation? Who was he and where was he before creation? Who is Jesus in the Old Testament? Who was he? Where was he during the Old Testament? Right? Where was he during Old Testament times? Why did Jesus come when he did? Why was the timing? Was the timing significant or was it just a random time? Why did he come when he did? Why was he born when he did? Why was he born into what he was born into? Why did Jesus have to die? That's a big question. Right? You ever have a friend or a family member ask you that about your faith? Why do you have to die? I mean, if God is all powerful and he's full of grace, why can't he just forgive everybody? He had to send his son to go die on the cross. Why do you have to die? We're going to answer that question. Where is Jesus right now? We're going to ask that question. And what do you mean he's coming back? And when is he coming back? Like I told you before, oh man, I have trouble sitting in a room talking about end times. I just do. It's just me, right? So what does it mean he's coming back? When is he coming back? What's that all mean? We're going to tackle that. I might even, be like the football quarterback and I might hand that one right to Pastor Kurt. Hey, Kurt, when's he coming back? And what does it all mean? I'll tell you one thing about the last book in the Bible, Revelation. Yeah. Who loves the book, Revelation? Who's read it and just kind of loves it? All right. Do you get it? The whole thing? You understand it? Can you just over coffee, just explain the whole thing to me so that I can walk away being like, oh, okay, cool. Right? I'll tell you what, I had sat with a pastor who just kind of walked with me through Revelations, and I'm like, man, I'm so thankful that you took the time out to help explain some of this to me. And then I had a class with a different denomination in Reading, and I learned all about Revelation. I'm like, oh, wow, that's a little different. But okay, I get it. Then classes with the AG here, and I'm like, oh boy. Then I go online and I start watching it, and I'm like, oh, wow. Okay, so we've got interpretations, right? And lots of opinions. I think the smarter, well, this is bad to say, especially online. The smarter a Christian gets in theology, I think the dumber they are. I know, I shouldn't say that. But I start hearing people, I'm not talking about these online theologians. I'm hearing them talk so sure about some things. I'm like, how can you be so sure about that comment? That comment was absolutely an opinion from a perspective, right? As they interpret it. I think it's good to know as much as we can get exposed to. I think it's good to hear all the sides. And as you learn and as we answer these questions the best we can, it is always best to sit. Here's the example of Jesus. Okay, I've heard you all. Now I'm going to go spend time with my Father. Isn't that what Jesus said? Right? I've had enough of all of you. I'm God and I need to go away. It's very peoply today. You guys got lots of questions. You guys got lots of problems, and I get it. And I'll be back. But in the morning, I'm going to the wilderness. I'm going to spend time with my Father, and I'm just going to find my peace. I'm just going to center myself, right? That's the example. So as we tackle these hard questions, my encouragement to you is spend time with your Father in prayer and in the evenings. Listen to the things that we're sharing, and then say to yourself, that was good. And now I'm just going to let it settle in my heart, right? And now I'm going to just spend time with God. So I think it's really good to know that we are not here to win arguments. So this next series, I'm not trying to win arguments or say that we're right and they're all wrong. That's not what I'm looking to say. or looking to do. I'm looking to see if we can answer some of these hard questions the best we can with love, grace, and what does the Bible say? And as we translate or as we unfold these things, I hope we're really clear about saying things like, this is from me. This is my perspective. This is what the Word says. So we got a lot of things we're going to have to tackle. Anyways, I'm preparing you guys, right? A lot of this is just preparing you. But what this whole sermon series, we're looking to strengthen faith, right? Who's it for? Who is this sermon series going to be for? As you all are sitting in the seats. It's going to be for the curious. Are you curious? If you're curious, the sermon series is for you. Are you skeptical? If you're skeptical, the series is for you. Are you a lifelong believer? This series is for you. How about this? Are you wounded? This series is for you. Are you searching? This series is for you. Are you still in process? Is God still working on you and in you? Then this series is for you, right? The more clearly we see Jesus, the more confidently we can follow him. The more we understand about Jesus, the better we can believe in him with firm footing, right? And let roots dig down into our faith, that we might stand firm. Like Jesus said to Peter. Peter was so sure, right, of who Jesus was. And he said, it's upon that rock, Peter, that I will build my church, right? That strong faith. You know who I am. And that's all Jesus wanted for everybody. Know me better, man. Know me better, right? So, here's who we're becoming together as TG Wairika. We are becoming, I believe, a church where questions are welcomed. And that's why I want to ask the questions up here, because I am always inviting y'all to send me an email or a text message, right? Send me your thoughts, right? Send it to the church phone and the church email. And even the questions, I'm going to put them on the weekly, the questions that we're going to be covering. If you have a question about Jesus that's not on there, send it. I just might work that into my sermon, make a section. If the question's really good, I might just add a whole nother sermon just on your question. So please bring the hard question, right? So questions are welcomed. That's the kind of church we are. Doubt is not shamed. Doubt is okay. I always like to remind us all of Thomas, right? The doubting disciple. That's my man, right? I even changed his name. Remember one series back? I said, he's not doubting Thomas. He's honest Thomas. He was the only one who would have said it. Everyone was like, oh yeah, Jesus has raised from the dead. He's like, whatever. I don't believe any of you. I need to see the holes in his hands for myself. I need to put my hand in his side. I don't believe you. You guys are all just human. You guys talk a lot. He's one of those guys, right? I can't believe all your talk. He's like, I don't even believe it. Unless I can put my finger in the hole, my hand in the side. Unless I look him in the eye, I'm not going to believe it. And so what does Jesus do? He doesn't say, no, okay, now Thomas just, he's out. There's no longer the 12 or the 11. It's 10 now, because we got to get rid of the doubting guy. He's got to go. No, Jesus walked through a locked door, walked right up to Thomas in front of the room of everybody and said, here I am. You asked, right? Go for it. Put your finger there. His robe, opened it up. Put your hand in there. That's who Jesus is. You want the experience? You asked for it? Here I am. I hope you're ready for it. Thomas will probably just like, oh God. Well, sometimes when we ask God for something like that, be ready. It could be powerful. And we believe that, right? So doubt's not shamed. Faith is formed, not forced. We don't force faith on anybody. Take your time. The journey is yours. Take as long as it takes, right? God is patient, and so are we. We're the kind of church where Jesus is lifted higher than our preferences. We lift Jesus higher than our opinions. And we lift Jesus higher than Christian traditions. We lift Jesus up the highest. It's by his example That's why we want to know who Jesus is, right? And once we kind of understand who he is, we're going to understand who he is through the things that he said, the things that he did. All of it is going to be unfolded. I pray. I pray it will be. And also we're going to be a church that understands that sanctification is a lifelong process that only requires cooperation and grace from us, right? So, we don't want to just say all things are new. We want to know why they are new and who makes them new. When we truly know Jesus, grace starts to make sense. When I started to really wrap my head around who Jesus is, what he did, why he came, why he did what he did, oh man, I understand grace in a much bigger way, in a much more powerful way. And I was able to start giving grace to others way better than I did before. Right? When I understand the kind of grace that God has for me, man, my heart was just broke apart. I spent so much time in just tears, crying. So thankful for what God did to me. And then I would think back about how I was talking and treating some people, and I was like, man, how dare I? So that's where transformation started to happen. I became a lot softer version of myself. And I pray that you will too. Grace will make sense. Truth will feel grounded. And it'll feel good because it's security and you understand it. Obedience will flow from love and not from lording over or have to or rule following. Surrender and obedience to Jesus will come from love because we're loved and we want to be loved and we want to love others. Right? And then our mission, the Great Commission, it becomes personal. I shared with you the story of my wife when we were just hanging out as friends, and I opened the door and she's standing there crying. And I'm like, what happened? Are you okay? She's like, everyone needs to know Jesus. I was like, I'm in love. Will you marry me? Right on the spot. Right on the spot. So the thing is when you know who Jesus is and your relationship with him becomes really strong, that mission, that Great Commission to preach the good news of Jesus becomes a personal mission. Everyone needs to know Jesus the way I know him. He has changed me and my heart and my mind so much. He has healed me from so much betrayal from humans that all that betrayal and all that resentment I had has been washed away. I love everybody. I forgive everyone. Everyone needs to know what I know so they can feel what I'm feeling right now, right? It becomes personal, that mission. So next week, we don't just start with a topic. We're going to start with a journey. This is going to be an incredible journey that we're going to take together. Just know that our journey is not going to take us into religion, right? This journey we're going to take, it's going to take us into revelation. The revelation of Jesus. Who is God revealing himself to be to us? So, if you're new here, I can't say we don't do this often because we've been doing this a lot. But I want to make some declarations as a church. So if you have been coming here regularly, you know the deal. It's just kind of like being in agreement that we're going to do this together. We're going to journey this together. If you're new, sit back and know that we're not a cult. We're just going to say some things. So we're going to put it on the screen. If you want to take this journey with us, just say this with me, right? I don't just want I can't read it. I don't just want what Jesus can do. I want to know who Jesus is. That's the first one. The second one, I don't just want a new life. I want a deeper relationship with the one who gives new life. Right? And then let's remember this last one. All things are new because Jesus makes them new. That's just our declaration together. Not a big deal. No Kool-Aid to be drank, right? No tennis shoes to put on. None of that stuff. Just a group of people that are here for a reason. Not just enchiladas, but hanging out as the body of Christ, brothers and sisters, just trying to figure out this life a little bit better, right? Because life is tough. We know this. People are tough, and we know this. But when we know who Jesus is, people are a little easier to manage and deal with and accept. And when we know who Jesus is, our life starts to make a little more sense, and our journey makes a little more sense. All of a sudden, we get purpose, and we are on mission. And then, man, let the excitement begin. Because when you get a body of people like this together on one accord and on mission, it's the most fun. What's my grammar? It is the funnest, funner, most fun. It's funner than anything else. It is the most fun when we are doing this thing together as a family, right? It's the most fun. All right, so we're going to go one more song. I'm going to invite the prayer team to come up. And if you want prayer, if you're excited because you're here and you're like, you know what? I can't wait. I can't wait to get to know these people. I can't wait to take this journey with them. I can't wait till they get to some of those hard questions. I want to see what they have to say. Come on up and get prayer. Or if there's something personal going on in your life, or maybe with a family member, I know that healing seems to be on the agenda of prayer lately, right? A lot of us are looking for some healing, physical, emotional. We have family members that are really not doing well, and we want to pray for them. So I want to encourage you to come get prayer with Nate, with Chris, Pastor Kurt back there. And let me just pray over us as we go into this next song. So, Jesus, thank you for making all things new, Lord. You are the one, Jesus. And even more, thank you for revealing who you are. And as we step into this next season, Lord, give us open hearts, give us curious minds, give us surrendered lives. Meet us in our questions, strengthen us in our faith, draw us closer to you, Lord. We don't want surface level belief. We want real transformation here.